In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful, my dear friends and fellows, we all want to become good speakers. We all want to become a good conversationalists. Is it true or not? Very much true. So today we are going to talk something very simple about that. To be a good listener, to be a good speaker, to be a good speaker, an important talk is going to become our today's topic. Dear friends, I read it, I heard it from the renowned writers, speakers, researchers. First of all, I read it from Dale Carnegie, maybe the most famous motivational speaker ever, Dale Carnegie. He wrote, to be a good speaker, you do have to become a good listener. To be a good speaker, you need to become a good listener first. How is that? What is that? It's really important. Why do I call it important? Because, my dear friends, if at all we are a good speaker, good listener, it means that on the one hand, we are getting information and knowledge. Being a good listener means that we are gaining the information and the knowledge which will become ours, which will become yours and mine. Once we have heard it, listened it, understood it, assimilated it, it becomes yours, it becomes mine. And the one from whom we listened it, he, she cannot take it back. No matter how hard they try, they cannot take it back. It is ours now as well. It is mine and yours as well, dear friends. That is the first great benefit. The other is we need to learn their way of communication. How are they trying to communicate? How he or she is trying to communicate? What are the good points in it and what are the bad points in it? What are the good points in it which should be adopted and what are the bad points in it which must be avoided? On the one hand, we are getting the information and the knowledge. On the other hand, we are learning how to speak. Observing that, trying to understand it, what is the good lying in it, what is the bad in it, what was the good way of communication and what was the bad way of communication, and what are the good words and what are the bad words. And we need to we need to keep observing, we need to keep listening, and this way actually we are training ourselves as well about what to say and what not to say, how to say something and how not to say something. That is really important and that is really useful and beneficial for us, my dear friends. Number three, if at all we are listening to others properly, like a good listener, they too will try to reciprocate it by listening to us well. They will also try to reciprocate us by listening to us well, and that these are all the good benefits. Our relationship will develop a lot, and they will tell us certain things which they will not be ready and happy to tell to other people, and these good things are going to be very useful for us. They can disclose us certain very necessary and useful information which maybe they are not doing sharing it with other people. Why? Because we have been listening to them well, we have been listening to them properly, and that is something really useful and beneficial. So there are huge number of benefits. I think the more we talk about it, there will be more and more beneficial thing coming out of this principle, and that principle is called being a good listener. And not only this thing, maybe we don't have enough of the content to share with them, to share with other people. I think, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be availing the opportunity to talk in front of the people, particularly as being a as being a public speaker. It is always useful, it is always beneficial to become a good to become a good public speaker. That is a great skill. Each one of us must try to learn it, because it is one of the hugely, because it is one of the immensely beneficial skill we can ever learn. So we should never miss any opportunity. We should not be missing any opportunity at all to learn to become a good to learn to become a public speaker. We are going to become a public speaker first, and a good public speaker then, and that can be learned by listening respectfully to other people. And that is also a great way of getting closer to them. I think it must be understood, whatever sort of information, whatever other techniques other people are using during their talks, we need to observe it well, we need to imitate it, we need to practice it, and this way we can become a competent speaker. So I think so. Whoever said first, whoever said it later, that being a good listener actually makes us being a good speaker. That is something I think it must be taken as $1 million idea, and never ever try to underestimate it. It is immensely and hugely beneficial thing. If at all we are determined to become a good listener, also if at all we are listening to other well, it actually mean that we are setting a tradition, and we are a sort of doing favor to other person as well. But much more than that, maybe 100 times more than that, it is a like doing favor to we ourselves. So never ever violate this principle, the principle of being a good listener. If at all we do have to say something in between the talk, still there is a way to do that. If it is very important, we need to be very respectful, we need to be very humble, and we need to become very respectful toward them. But never forget that we do have to become a good listener first. It is hugely immensely possible, hugely immensely useful and beneficial.